Jennifer Pugh on Príomh-Ducht Nua ag an IHRB. Jennifer, you've come into the job in January.
Yes.
Can you give us broad brush strokes of your responsibilities?
Yeah, the job, there's several different facets to it. There's obviously the race day work here in Listowel and all the race courses across the country, where we provide the immediate pre-hospital trauma care for any jockeys who are injured, and then obviously checking the guys who get a fall. Every jockey who's a fall, whether injured or not, gets a quick once over from the medical team, and then head off to ride in their next race if they're fit to clear, fit to ride. And then obviously the follow-up, the guys who are injured, there's constant follow-up of with specialists and consultants and scans and so forth, and physio and rehab, so it's making sure they're getting the appropriate rehabilitation and care after their injury, and that they're fit to return to ride. So there's a lot of administrative work, a lot of policy writing and management meetings and that, but it's all part of the job.
And obviously you succeeded a man who's a bit of a legend in the business, sort of the Doc, Adrian McGoldrick. Was that daunting?
So I had lots of congratulations when I got the job, but every single person, big boots to fill. But I'm very lucky. I would count Adrian as a friend and a mentor. In fact, he's on speed dial whatever time, day or night, and he works probably 20-hour days, so he's always available, and he's a great support, and he's still heavily involved in most of the, especially the big decisions and any advice. I'm very lucky to have taken over from someone like him.
Yeah. And obviously, Jennifer, you're a champion jockey yourself. Is that, in the point of points, and is that helpful in terms of seeing the other side?
Yeah, I mean, we'll clarify, champion point to point lady rider 10 years ago now, but yeah, like it's, I've been involved in this for a long time, right, working in racing yards and stud yards, and so I know a lot about the industry. Riding, it's not a prerequisite for this job, but it's definitely helpful. You certainly know, even at my very amateur level, and I was working and studying at the same time, but that drive was still there for me to get back and ride 2 weeks after a broken collarbone and try to dodge the doctor. And I know all the tricks because I've seen my friends and family and myself doing it at all costs to try and make sure that you don't miss a ride. And again, that's at my very amateur level, but it's nice to be able to escalate that up and have some perception of what the pressures that these guys are under to keep going.
I mean, you are following them around in an ambulance. There's 2 ambulances following these guys. It's obviously a very dangerous business. How practically, what are you looking out for, or how do you react?
Yeah, so there's 2 ambulances on every track, and it depends on the track. Some tracks we're very lucky we've got a continuous road, so it's quite close to stay up to the action. Other tracks we might not have a full ambulance road and we're doubling back, which makes it more difficult. But in Dr. McGoldrick's time, he set up the iPad, so we have a Skype call with the Irish truck, so we can get the live pictures. So that's to help in the ambulances to see how someone falls and mechanism of injury. And so yeah, you're looking at even on the way to the start, the stalls. But thankfully, flat racing we don't see falls too often during racing, but quite often it's the way to the start or it's in the stalls, and then jump racing obviously over the big black things we have to be.
Yeah. I mean, we had an example there in the Ayr Manor race there on Tuesday, where there's a faller and 2 or 3 are taken down. You've multiple, so there's a lot of reaction. You've a lot of guys to check. How does that work?
So there's usually a system within each track and within each team in the ambulance. So second ambulance usually stops first. The first ambulance continues to follow the race. But obviously, if we have multiple fallers, there's radio communication between the 2 teams if we need somebody extra to stop, and there'll be coordination between the people within the ambulance as to who's going to who. The guy who's jumping up, and they always jump up, or they seem to make automatically some signal to let the world know they're alive. Yeah. They're okay, that they're moving. The guy who's land still we'll go to for priority, and go from there.
And obviously beyond that, as you said, there's a wider now racing, safety standards and everything have improved, and there's a lot of studies going on that you sort of oversee. Can you give us again, broad brush stroke? We're talking mental health and all that.
Yeah. I mean, we're very lucky that Dr. McGoldrick really broadened the scope of this job in his tenure, and was heavily into research, because obviously all of medicine is based on evidence-based. We can't just make it up and do something because we think we should. So we have loads of research going on. There's the mental health study into both jockeys and trainers, which I think will throw up probably what we're expecting, but I think when we actually have it in hard facts, it'll be quite an eye-opening, and I suppose the most important thing then is that we act on that and we put the supports in place. And we also have the DEXA bone scanning study, which is ongoing at the moment for both active and retired jockeys. Obviously, making sport to the extreme that this sport is, we're seeing a lot of health complications in jockeys. There's also a physiology study going on, loads of epidemiology and injuries at home, so we're really lucky to have a lot of support in that regard, and like I said, the most important thing is that we do the research, we find out where the needs are, and then we try and get something in place to make life somewhat more enjoyable for these lads.
That's brilliant, Jennifer. Countess Nadini is talk these at Jennifer Pugh. Gur Mila Magat.